Okay, so in my venture to fix my PTO issues, I have adjusted the clutch arm, I adjusted the cylinder. If you don't know how to do that, you take the cylinder off, both these, you crack the lines, you extend the cylinder all the way out, you suck it back 3/4 of an inch, and then you bolt it onto the frame, and then you should be able, if your clutch arm is in line with your clutch, the clutch fully being pushed all the way back that way, the cylinder hole and the pinhole should slide right up with a bolt. If it's not, you have to disconnect your arm, slide it into the tooth position that it lines up with the cylinder with that 3/4 inch gap, and then now your clutch arm and your clutch cylinder are properly in line. Mine wasn't, so I had to readjust that. That didn't fix the problem. I went ahead, because we thought it was electrical. It ended up not being that. It was a little confusing with the timing circuit. So go in the manual and test all these wires in the clutch, the PTO switch. But basically you get 12 volts on the red, you get 12 volts on the white and black, or the gray and black, and then you get one on the gray. And then it drops to 4.5 volts when the logic connector, the controller, hits it and switches the voltage. So if you're getting those there's a whole diagram on how to do that. Basically what you need to do is you need to come back here and test it. And what ends up happening is on the original valve, this is coil 1 and this is coil 2. And this is the one that engages the PTO, and this is the one that disengages the PTO for safety. And these are supposed to stay on a maximum of 10 seconds max, and they oscillate. So what happens is on the original valve, coil 1 gets a 12 volt signal, and it extends the clutch arm to suck in. It pulls it in, and that engages your PTO. Then this will shut off, meaning there will be no voltage. The clutch arm over here is supposed to stay engaged when it's properly working. Mine is not. We'll get to that. Then when you hit the switch down into the off position, this will turn on, and that will extend the rod and shut off your PTO. And that part of it is working properly. So this is the original valve that comes with the tractor. Serial number is 1178. The original valve that comes with the tractor is this. It's a Hydroforce SV10 47D, and there's a bunch of numbers after it. It's like N8T, N12, and then basically, depending on the connection, you can have Danfoss connections, you can have these blade connectors as you see here. That makes up the part number. But this is the biggest thing right here, this symbol. This is how the solenoid works at rest, when each line is activated, and what ports go where. I was able to source a Danfoss valve, which is what you see here, and it operates exactly the same except for one minor change. When you work on this one, this is your extend, and this is your this is your PTO on, means it sucks the cylinder in, and this is your PTO off. So basically coil 1 and coil 2. So basically you just take the wires and you flip them. And then this part number, I have flying leads, so they're directly wired in. You can get connectors, you can roll these up if you want. I didn't want to get into it. It came like this, it was tested like this, it was working. So this is a Danfoss valve. One of the things I do like about it, it has these reliefs here, so you can loosen this one bolt, loosen this, and you can pull the whole assembly out. The other one had holes. You had to take this whole thing apart, pull these bolts out, slide it out. It sucked. But I can show you that assembly right here. And this is the original one. I mean, it still worked, but I don't even know it did. Oh, it didn't look like it had holes. Well, anyway, that's a Hydroforce, and that's the part number right there. And it's a 12 and then 2 letters, and the letters are basically how the electrical connection is here. So, but that's the part number. I got to know on these Cummings, I thought that was the problem. It's not the problem. The valve was good, so I basically spent damn near close to, $600 for no reason. Fortunately, I think this is a better quality valve. and they're wicked easy to get. Like they had these in stock. I paid stupid fast shipping, but this was $393 with like next day air. So I had this thing the day after I ordered it. It was on my doorstep. So that was great. So I can get these regularly. Hydroforce takes a little longer, but you still can get those. They're like in California, you can still get them. So I'm still having issues where the tractor engages the PTO when this coil, mind you, the old one would be this one, this coil sucks the PTO arm in. Then when this one shuts off, this arm goes lax and goes back the other way. Not all the way, but it goes lax the other way. So there's two things that can be wrong, and I got a kit on the way. It's either that the pressure in here going to the manifold is not enough, and yes, I have adjusted the needle valve properly. I've even tried giving it more. That doesn't really do anything. It just restricts how fast the cylinder moves. Or the cylinder's bad and it's bleeding by. So I don't know exactly what's wrong with it yet. But I went through and, labeled I took the chance to label all my hoses in case I take it apart. I put the colors on those hoses so I wouldn't have to worry about it again. I had the whole thing apart. I just relabeled everything. And then I made these. I love Deutsch DT connectors. They're not waterproof, but like they don't corrode. I've had really good luck with these. So anytime I get to use these things, I do. And they have a whole massive kit. But I rewired this thing, and this thing is working like a champ. The wires were wicked corroded, but they were still getting the right amperage. So I know it's not this. I know it's not the clutch arm because I calibrated that. I know it's not the cylinder arm because I fixed that. So I don't know yet what's wrong. It could be the charge pressure or the cylinder could be bad. But if you're having this problem, before you buy all these parts, highly recommend you get a testing kit and test the charge pressure and check your cylinder. My arm was out of adjustment, and Trevor, somebody on the group, the Trackless forums that I made on Facebook, he was like, you got to check this. I didn't understand what he meant a week ago, but after I talked with him, I was like, shit, I understand what you're saying. My cylinder was out of calibration, and now it engages like really good. It has a wicked strong pull. It's smooth. There's no noise. And I know my clutch is good. So if you're looking for a solenoid, Danfoss, you can get it. This is what it is. There's a bunch of numbers after it, but it's pretty simple to figure out. I'll just go over that real quick. So you've got this 12D. It should be for 12 volt. You got this number here. So like Deutsch with diode, I would not do anything with a diode or a Zener diode. I wouldn't do any of that. I got the one with the flying leads. This one would have been better, a DE, but they didn't have that one. And I could have got it, but whatever. Flying leads, I can make my own wires. So there was an FL. And then push button pilot. The original one didn't have this, but you can have a push button. You can have a push pin, whatever. If it's in stock, it's great. So the seal kit, I went with the Bunna. It's common. It's easy to rebuild. And then this right here, the housing, I can't remember. It was a number 8 aluminum. I can't remember. I think it was the 8S. Because, yeah, these are number 8 fittings on the original. So I went with the 8S, which I believe that's what it was. But that means I can just thread the old fittings directly into the body. I didn't have to change anything. And this was wicked easy. I just super cleaned all the fittings before I took them off the old solenoid, put them on, and boom, it fit right in. So I'm really happy with this. Really pissed I had to spend all that money for no reason, and my solenoid valve was working. But, whatever, a new part. I have spares now. I got another one coming that's like the original, and I have the old one that I'm just going to clean up and keep for parts. Parts are parts. So if anybody has any input on this and this problem, which we really think is either the charge pressure coming in and it's not holding, which I hope it's not. I really hope it's just that cylinder is weeping by internally and it just needs a little rebuild.